Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro Nunez to bring you another extraordinary and successful guest. Today we have with us Dan Lenard, who is not only the founder of Dan Leonard, which is one of the most respected design studios that are redefining how to do yachts, aircrafts, and experiences at the highest level, but he's also a visionary and somebody that carries purpose in everything he does. He just recently broke a world record in one of the most incredible adventures that I've got to witness. So it's a privilege and an honor to have Dan Lenard with us here.
And
Oh,
here we are.
there he is. There he is. The man,
Hey,
the myth, the legend.
My friend, welcome to our SLG meetup. It's super exciting to have you here. And we've known each other now for so many years. And every time I see what you're doing, it just keeps on leveling up. Every time it's like bigger, better, more incredible shipyard that you're designing and building. And then you're transforming that into other different industries, whether it's the aircrafts or experiences. But not only that, you are also recently broke a world record on your own. Tell me about that because that's super exciting.
you know what? Sailing is actually a very vast field, right? And when
Mm,
you think of sailing, you think of these expensive regatta boats, and all these big expert guys running over the oceans, But you have to know that most of them actually started on a very small boat when they were kids. And if you go ahead and keep on going in your local club as a kid, you become a junior, and then you become a teenager, and suddenly somewhere around 18, you are heavy and big enough to actually end up on a laser. And
hmm
laser is the most numerous boat on the world, really, actually, no? To give you
mm.
an idea, I got my new one last September. September in 24, and its serial number is 225,450. So
Okay.
this is how many boats were made, about almost 250,000, I would say, by now,
hmm
And this means that basically everyone that ever sailed a little bit more seriously at least once tried a laser. It's like the
hmm
boat, the apotheosis of all the small sailing boats, and the sweet memory of every expert sailor in the world, no?
Right.
And also mine, because at 16 I started to sail on laser, and this brought me to a crazy idea that at my almost 60, I'm going to be 58 in 2 weeks, no? Why not going back to roots, Why not going back to where I started really to enjoy sailing? And then I got a little bit into it, and I realized that there are actually some records made with laser. And laser is very, very difficult boat to live on. It's a
Yeah.
boat that you can easily make a race of 3 4 hours. You can be out for the day with a little bit of water, but staying on a boat on an endurance, let's say, attempt. So leaving day and night, and basically being a yachtsman on the smallest possible yacht. Well, that's not easy, and that started to um, tempt me into thinking of how about if, and at that point, I found a sponsor, PSA, the biggest producer of lasers in Australia. They were immediately responding, sending me the boat, like no asking questions,
hmm
And I tried in September 24 to learn what actually this is all about. My attempt was not going very well, But then I
hmm
started again in June at 25, and I learned even more about it. And
hmm
again, I had to stop. And then in August, I was fully prepared, and I was really enjoying. And I made this world record in endurance, which is the distance that you make in this boat without any assistance, without stopping by the shore or by the boat, or even attaching yourself to any kind of a anchor or floating object.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing is that you can't stop sailing, because you can't take the sail down on laser. It's a sock
Right.
being put over the tip of the mast down, like a windsurf. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you are condemned on having the sail full time on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the problem is sleeping. The problem is when do you rest? The problem is stretching, because it's very small boat. The problem is food. The problem is sun. The problem is strategy. Everything's a problem suddenly. You know, the least important thing is how good technically you are as a sailor, because even if you were not good, after 3 or 4 days, you are very good.
Yeah, exactly. What was the total time and distance?
I did 325 miles in 6 days and 4 hours.
Wow.
And I
Unbelievable.
stopped because that was enough for the record, no?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I stopped also because I want to do it again, and slowly
Keep on
level.
increasing the record.
You know what I mean?
I love
every
that.
year,
Well,
every year
hey,
until I can, I will try to go further and further, and then let them try.
yeah. But it's such a great story. And what you said at the beginning, it brought you back to your roots. Because for people that have seen you on social media or that have seen the type of shipyards that you've designed, you are being named and ranked one of the most accomplished designers in the world. Like you see all these massive, super expensive shipyards, and that's you. And you go from that back to your roots, sailing, breaking records, having fun. So tell me about what was the true meaning behind, or what did you feel when you accomplished this world record?
Well, first, it's a huge pleasure for me to be connected to the sea. And this kind of a boat, this size of a boat, is about 6 inches from the water. You are very connected to the
Yeah,
sea.
you're swimming almost, yeah.
Yeah. And all my love for sea actually led me to designing boats. And also through this love for sea, I met my partner, Carlo Nuvolari, and we are
Mhm.
um, going to be 37 years together in April. Can you imagine that?
Wow, what a journey.
I mean, this is longer than being with anybody else in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
it's actually way more than half of my life by now. And it's gonna go up, and my age is gonna go up. I don't think I'm ever gonna get to half of my life. It's just always
Right,
gonna be
right.
more than half of my life.
You
So
you
yeah, all our passion for boats starts with passion for the sea. And
mm,
I actually really needed again a strong connection with the media, which is the sea for me. It's like refreshing your credo, your basics from which you are actually taking the love for what you're doing, from. And I really needed that. It was not strategical. It was not like something I should do. It was something I really needed inside. And it's freeing your spirit again. And you are one of the top world, how shall I say, extreme sportists, aren't you? Like that would be even not enough to say, because extreme today is anything, no? You are really beyond everybody else. So you know how freeing it is when you accomplish something like this, and how
mm,
much of a charge you get for everything else in your life, no? And
right.
I just needed that after 6 years of that transatlantic. I obviously, then there was those years with the COVID, and then we
Mhm.
started to gather together all our businesses, and you know, um, 6 years slipped away without being really strongly back on the sea, and
Mm.
without planning something really expensive and complex, like big boats and oceans crossings and stuff like that. I really thought, why not going back to roots, And this is what actually today I'm more challenged by the laser than I am by any other bigger boat. If you ask me, do
Right.
you want to go out on an 80-footer with the racing crew, or you want to have a laser for yourself in the afternoon? Laser wins hands
Laser
down.
all the time. Yeah. Wow. You're saying something that is so true and important for people to remember, that when you go to your roots, when you go to the passion that ignited that journey, that sometimes charges you up even more than any success that you will accomplish in the path that you're in.
Exactly. You nailed it.
And that is
And
a great reminder. We forget about that
yeah,
often.
it's like you start with all kinds of um, chargings and ideas, and you're fresh and motivated, and you do anything necessary to go ahead and make your career, to make your stuff well, to succeed. And this consumes you as well, and a lot of people down the road lose that simply because this is like love. You have to invest in it, you have to renew it, you have to sometimes take time and do stuff you did some time ago with a beloved person, and it's the same with things that brought you into a career and into a love for your job. It's the same thing.
100%. One thing that stood out as you were talking about your partner and being 37 years in business and all the different turbulences that you've been going through, and you're still standing and not just surviving, but thriving, accomplishing some of the most incredible things. Like, you're literally the example of what anybody that is getting in the industry is aiming for. And a question I have for you is there a secret formula to maintain yourself in the game for so long and at that level?
We never really thought what we have to do. We were just simply always driven by the same passion, which is, how can you do a new thing and better? Our
Mm,
designs are known for not being repetitive. They are all so different between themselves that people are newcomers, let's say, have
yeah,
hard time to understand these are all ours. These are all from Nuvolari Leonard, because they look like products of different minds. But this is how we like to work. Not discovering a formula and then repeating it and making some kind of a family feeling between our boats, or brand or something. The brand is that each boat is so different from another that each of them becomes a brand in itself. And I can name you a few that when you know that the boat is a brand by itself, when her name cannot be changed. If you buy
hmm,
that boat as a
that's
second-hand
it.
boat and you rename it, the market, the people will still call it with the old name, right?
Mhm.
You know what I
That's a good
mean?
point. That's a good point. Absolutely. That is so true. And
I
I've
mean,
seen,
say for instance, you buy Nord, if that was even
oh,
possible, and you
but by
rename
the way,
it.
for the people that don't know, that are watching or that are listening to this, explain quickly what Nord is.
Well, Nord is one of the most complex boats ever built, with a
Yeah.
design that refers to only itself. It was praised and acclaimed. Hardly ever I heard any kind of a critic, not even a critic, but some people may say, okay, I like it, but I have a preferred boat. Okay, that's plausible, no? I mean, but generally is widely accepted as one of the most recognizable boats ever built,
Hmm.
no?
And what's
And
the price for it?
uh, at the time was 500 million. Um, and that was in 219, 220,
Hmm.
221. We delivered it in COVID, actually. Yeah. I don't know what today would be the price, but I would assume it's
Hmm.
25-30% up at least.
No, carry on with the story. I just wanted to set up the tone for those that were not too aware of it, because for those that understand luxury and are in the space, especially of yachting, I mean, you know about Nord for sure. But for those that are tuning in, check it out, because for me, it's one of my favorites for sure.
It's a boat that, as I said, if you had a chance to buy it, let's say, forget already, you already have the capacity, the financial capacity to buy it, and you also want it, and you buy it, and you call it with some other name, the whole world will still call it Nord because that's the name. It's like you would try to
Mm.
rename the Porsche. you
Yeah,
know
exactly, exactly.
like
It's the
somebody buys
identity.
Porsche and now calls it something else, but there is still 911, but it's called something else. Everybody
Mm.
will always call it Porsche. You can't
Yeah,
change that. So this is what means that the design has been so strong that it created almost a brand out of itself. And brand is a little bit a caricature because you are not selling this as a product, no, but still its brand as a name, as a brand, is strong enough that you could do other products with that name referring to that yacht, and you would be able to sell them.
totally, 100%. And there's
I
something
think
that
you could do a purse for a woman named Nord, and those that will
still.
know that is referring to Nord, the yacht, would buy the purse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh my God. It's already a strong brand on its own. I agree with you. And one thing that I want to lean on with this is that you've been a creator ever since. And it's about how can you come up with new ideas and concepts to stay unique in everything you do. And that is a skill that nowadays is getting less and less applied to life. We have now technology that does everything for you, and your creativity is not as sharp as it was before. So people are trying, as you mentioned, do more, but not necessarily better. And they're just replicating things faster. So how do you stay sharp and find new ways of continuously innovate and create?
A lot of the input comes from a person because we actually really connect with the client,
Hmm.
and you have to understand the personality, you have to understand the person, and then you basically tailor made it to him, not
Mm.
to the wishes that he or expressed, not only to that. You actually make a boat that expresses himself, and he would never be able to tell you how that boat should look like to express himself. He would be able, like most of people, telling what he likes that is
Right.
already made, or maybe there
Hmm.
is some kind of a vague idea that he has. It's all good, but what we do is we take all that and then we design it to the personality of the owner. And I can really say that the owners of our designs are very strongly emotionally connected to their boats. It's not
Mm.
just a boat. It's not that something that they build and okay, yeah, well, we'll do another. We have a problem that a lot of these people actually then cling to this and they don't really sell it and buy another one. So we are at the same time also making like the final boat to
Yeah,
everybody.
that's it. That's the
Yeah.
pinnacle. You made it. You made it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of these people are right. I mean, new is not always better. That is his boat, and could you really do it differently? Probably yes. But do you
Hmm.
want? Well, no. Maybe you are just in love so much with this boat that this is it for your life. I mean, that's happening, and I can name you at least 50% of our clients are staying with their boats, and
Mm.
for more than 10 years, let's say, okay, and and going.
Right. How do you, because this is important too, like to earn the respect and the trust from all these individuals? Is it because of the results that you've been having over the years, or how do you maintain and keep on expanding these type of relationships with the
I
most
think,
wealthy
you
people in the
know,
world?
the portfolio, of course, speaks for itself. It gives you a kind of a credibility that you can do good stuff, no?
Hmm.
Um but I think that we have been always really working successfully with people because we connected with them on a very, very close level. You know a lot about the person, and person is somehow feeling safe to let you discover him or her to the point that it becomes very personal, you know. That's not
Mm,
called a friendship. It's
right.
it's really a professional understanding of the subject that actually commissioned you the boat, you know, and that is basically where you get really into it, you know. And I think it's building a relationship that makes it, you know, or you are,
Mm,
and for this you have to be in a certain way, and you know that better than I do. I mean, you have to be an interesting person. You have to be very acculturated. You have to be at home in possibly every possible field that comes to a mind. You have to be able to carry on conversation. You have to be able to stimulate. You have to be able to discuss in a creative and procreative way. You know, you have to be somebody that they want to meet to call you and discuss their boat with, not other stuff, you know, but they are really having fun discussing their project with you.
mm,
And it's
so
becoming
true.
also their project. It's their
Right.
project because you involve them in a way that they are participants. You know, it's not like, okay,
Hmm.
sit back, I'm going to give you my
Yeah.
creation. It's not like that. You know, we are not that prima donnas, you
Yeah.
know, and we
You're
don't want to be there.
co-creating. Yeah. You're working
Yeah.
together. Is there a specific approach initially on how to break through and really have them open up and build a relationship, or is it just a matter of conversations?
I think it's a matter of conversations and first feelings, first emotions. It's a little bit like again, it's like a relationship in any other way, you know, even in emotional way. A relationship, I think, I'm a strong believer in struck, you know, from the sky. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm not really a believer that you can kind of build a relation through the years and going from
Right.
friendship to love. Doesn't I don't believe that, but I
Hmm.
some people made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
believe in that. You know, I
Yeah.
think it's either snap or it's not. You
Or
know, and then
doesn't.
from that snap, the things roll like a snowball, becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. You know,
Hmm.
but just like insisting on something that doesn't have that frequency right
That
at the
spark.
beginning,
Yeah.
yeah, doesn't work. So
No.
yeah, I think at, at this point we attract some clients and some clients attract us, and that actually kind of leads us to meet and to work together and do stuff, you know. And it's
Hmm.
always fun with these people that I was lucky to work with. I learned a lot from them. I had good time with them. You know, we did the boat. Usually it ends there, you know, because at the end it's a professional relation, no? But it's not a boring thing. It's actually fun, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually rewarding on many levels, not just on the final product that at the end splashes and you
Hmm.
know you accomplished. The boat is built, shipyard's done, you know, owner has it. It's not just that you carry some nice experience out of it, even as a designer, you know, from the relation that you build with the person.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I'm curious also about not just the beautiful relationship and how you're doing all these things, but also on the lows, because it is a lot of pressure. You're doing something that is worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, and there is a lot of sophistication and teamwork that goes into it. So how do you make sure that you minimize the error to ensure that everything goes perfect?
Um, well, first of all, we have a very good team. You have to know this
Hmm.
is not a single man or
Operation.
two
Yeah.
partners operation, although we may actually be on the top of the ideas with my partner Carlo. At the end, the whole team is actually, you know, the guys that work with us and ladies. Um, you have to know that we have people that are 26, 27 years with us, you know.
Hmm.
Um, So we really don't have a flow through the office of newcomers and people leaving. You know, we don't. We are one of the most hermetically closed offices in the world. You know, and once somebody fits into the team, it kind of remains. You know, and it's pretty much uh, 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 let's say a responsibility of these people that things are flowing because you know at the end it's like a pyramid. You know, let's say you are a conductor, but then the orchestra, you know, has to play
Yeah.
the tune perfectly, you know. And it's a lot of people playing a lot of instruments, and at least one has to look always the next one next to him, you know, and they're reading the same notes, the same partiture, and you know the conductor is leading the whole thing. That's how it works, you know. I mean, otherwise, not one symphonic orchestra would be able to perform a symphony
Hmm.
without an error. You know, they don't error. You know,
Yeah.
they are well played, well tuned into a team. You know, this is what
100%.
we accomplished as a studio. Yeah,
I like that a lot
everyone.
because.
You know, all the situation we have lived already. You know, technically. You know,
Hmm.
I'm not saying the new technical solutions. Well, I'm not talking about that, but situations, you know, where something goes a little bit sideways and how to get it back in the track. We've lived all that, you know. We recognize the situation before it happens, you know, and you can actually lead it back to the track before it actually even looks like an error or a God forbid mistake, you know. But
Yeah.
what you want to actually avoid is not errors and mistakes. You want to avoid even the slight feeling that there is a problem. The
Right.
whole thing should not seem problematic to the owner, and hopefully not even to the yard, because yards would avoid offices that create situation where they have to deal with the problems, you know. So
Hmm.
you have two entities that you have to completely preserve from feeling of having a problem, you know. That's the owner and the yard, you know. And
Totally.
if you can imagine the budgets that we spoke before, you know, we often operate with two or even three figure numbers, you know, in yachting. One we haven't seen anymore for a long time. It's
Yeah.
always at least, it's always two, you know. Three quite often, and then it can be probably quite quite up there high. You have to know that these people don't need yachts. They want them, but there is no necessity to have it, you know, except
Totally.
your personal joy, fun, vanity, if you want, or reward for your lifetime
Hmm.
successes that you were accomplished. So you will never run into something like that if that would cause you a problem. You know, you have enough problems in your main business or businesses, and you are solving these problems all the time. But this is your job. It's what you do. You know, it's what makes you
Totally.
successful.
Yes.
Now you're buying a yacht. You really don't want to repeat any of that experiences that you have. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know. So
You know,
the
I
word
think.
problem doesn't exist, you know. You should not even pronounce that word, a
Mm.
problem. Not even
So
saying there is no problem. The word itself doesn't exist in our language, you know.
right. And this is something I wanted to ask you because there is something very important about what you mentioned on creating this family environment where you've had the same people over 20 plus years. And there must be some non-negotiables that you have established as standards in your organization so that everybody's aligned. Because otherwise you wouldn't build this sort of machine and entity that works together. So tell me just a few of them. Like what is some main non-negotiables that you lead by?
Well, obviously, the total total privacy of the clients and the total non-disclosure of the projects. That's number one. We are
Mm.
very known for not leaking, you know.
Yeah.
um, you know, in sorry, I just move a little bit. In yachting itself, I like to compare it that generally it's like a fruit market, you know, everybody chatting about everybody, you know. It's did you hear, did you know, you know. It's it's really like almost gaining an importance by knowing some stuff and sharing it with people. Well, we don't do that, you know. I mean, we really don't chat about stuff we're doing with anybody, you know. So if something is secret, is secret, you know. It's not because somebody has to hide. Some people just preserve not to be discussed while they're doing it, because these processes are 3 4 years long sometimes, you know.
Mhm.
And you just don't know what's coming in 3 4 years, so you don't want to release informations about what you're doing, building a yacht, until it's built, you know. Then it becomes a public domain anyway, so
Yeah,
you can't
then
hide
that's
it
it.
anymore, no.
Yeah, yeah,
But at
yeah.
least the process itself has to be confidential. I mean, I think it's the right thing that everybody's entitled to, you know. So that's number one. Second, we don't throw away ideas. So if something didn't pass somewhere, that's still a good idea, you know. It's somewhere waiting to be again pulled out and re-elaborated, you know, because you can't really make every time a score, you know. You can make a proposal and doesn't go down, you know, and that doesn't mean that was a bad proposal, you know. But of course, you don't use it as it is, because after a few years, it's just a very good departure for something new, you know. So we actually get often inspired by our own ideas that we didn't really accomplish, you know, but we hide
I
them
like that.
and keep them there. So you will hardly ever find those renders and concepts of Nuvolari Leonard of unbuilt yachts around. You know, we never
Yeah.
release our ideas that hasn't been accomplished. We have enough yachts that haven't been built, you know, but you will not find our attempts or proposals or renders on the internet. You know, we just don't release that. That's still
Hundred.
there cooking. You know, it's like a
Yeah.
tune. You are a composer. You figured out a nice tune, but right now it doesn't fit on your record. It's not in the style that you are promoting right now. You keep that tune. You know, it's gonna come out in some other shape someday, and it's gonna sound really, really beautiful. You know, that's how we work. So the second policy, everything we ever done and has not been accomplished is an idea, it's a value that we actually keep, and we often discuss what was there, why was like this, you know, and then we bring those stuff up, sometimes eclectically from different projects into something new, you know, but those ideas are valuable, you know, they were product of some nice moment of some stimulation that brought us to them. We keep them, you know,
I
but we
love
don't
that.
share them until it's the time
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
that.
of course, 100%.
So
Well,
that's now confidentiality inside the studio. You know, what we have done, it's always remaining in the studio, doesn't leave the studio, you know. So that is also another important thing, you know.
I like
The
that.
third thing is, everybody in our studio feels well with everybody, you know. I mean, if it's a boat show, we are a gang, we are a pack. Everybody goes, and
A
we are a
team,
group.
yeah, yeah.
Like we really hang together, you know what I mean? It's not like there are people I don't know in the office or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I know everybody knows everybody, and when it's time to go somewhere, flying somewhere, you know, it's something that you do it with pleasure, because anyone in our office is good to travel with anyone anywhere, not on professional level only, but actually just having a good conversation in the airplane or on the airport, having a drink together, waiting in a hotel lobby for a meeting or stuff like that. These people are all almost friends, let's say like that, you know. So
Hmm.
we have been living situations where a new person would be called in and promoted to the team, and team would not accept it, you know. It was a no-go. I mean, it was like
Hmm.
not digested and expelled out, you know. It just
Yeah,
didn't fit in, you know.
100%.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it happens, you know, it happens. And I would never force the team to accept the person that the team doesn't
Hmm.
want, you know. They are totally entitled to have everybody in the whole office uh, pleasant enough to be with, you know, to have a
Hmm.
coffee with, to
I
have
like that.
a small talk with, you know. So we are a little bit like a kind of a community, like a syndicate, you know,
That's
ourselves.
the key. That's the key to grow over all these years together. I love that. Well, look,
But
I
do
know
you
that.
know? Sorry,
Hmm.
just to add, this slipped from my mind. In order to be like that, you have to be small. You
Yeah,
can't be tens and tens of people. That doesn't work. You know, the team is
right.
too big. You have to consider it like a kind of a family, and
Boutique.
you know, we are always somewhere between 12 and 15. You know, never more.
Mm.
That's it. You know, that's we have some trainees and people from universities
Yeah.
going to the degree. You know, so we are fluctuating a little bit the number, but 12 people, let's say, is the core of our team, and that's not
I
going
love
to
that.
grow to 50 or 70,
Yeah.
because then
Quality over
our work
quantity.
would be completely compromised.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I know that we could be speaking forever, so that's why I wanted to ask you one last question, which we ask all our guests, because I know it's very valuable, your time, and I'm enjoying the conversation. But we want to keep these ones also tight, and I wanted to ask you
Sure.
about luxury. What is luxury to you?
Well, to me, does it
Yeah,
matter what is it to me? Because
that whatever the answer is for you.
well, obviously the ultimate luxury is always having your own yacht, because you
Mm.
just really don't respond to anybody when you're out there. That's
Mm.
that's basically the absence of institutions, the absence of um, pressure of any kind. The sea is so vast that the the space itself gives you freedom. And if that is on a very luxurious and nice object, I can't imagine anything better than that. I mean,
I love that.
so,
That's great.
and that's from professional point of view. Personal, I would just say, having time to be on the sea. So I'm not actually relating this anymore to a luxury object itself, but to a time and location. I think that is
Mm.
a real luxury. Having time to be on the sea, in no matter what kind of a boat or a yacht or a vessel. But just having time to enjoy this emptiness. I think this is a true luxury.
It's such a beautiful answer, and it's full circle to the conversation because we started talking about how you went back to your roots and how you were sailing because he brought you back to how you were as a kid, and then you went on for this world record, and now you're redefining also your understanding of luxury as just having the time to be on the sea. So I will take this on my own personal journey on how go back into the roots can recharge you and really define the approach on how you go in life. So I appreciate you, my friend. That's been a really, really insightful conversation from one of the best in the field. So I can't wait to see you if you're coming here for the boat show. I know it's in February in Miami or any other event. I look forward to meeting.
We will be for the Palm Beach, because we present a new yacht in United States. It's boat built here in Italy, in CRN, and it's
Hmm.
for American client, and we're looking forward, because that's like really the the newest from Italy, and it's
Mm.
really high end, and we are looking forward. So Palm Beach for me, I think it's second half of March, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong. No,
I look forward to it.
I'll
And
pass
hey,
on I'll pass on Miami, unless something pops out. I'm always ready.
or we fly the helicopter into the yacht. We can always do that. I can take you there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're doing all kinds of stuff. I know you're a pilot for what, 3-4 years already, no? Something like
Yeah.
that, no?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Yeah. I'm still having a dream. I mean, the air, but mine is actually a glider. I would love to have
Very
one
cool.
day time to have opportunity to fly with the glider, and they're so high end now. They have their own engine. You can
Oh, it's
be
amazing.
days in the air if you want, but then it's a glider, but with the auxiliary engine that you can actually use for safety. It's great. It's just like so high tech, very expensive.
Yeah. Well, you're making the good money and keep up the great work. I look forward to doing all these fun adventures to continue pushing the human limits and to getting inspiring individuals to keep on going because that's what we're doing with this series. We just want other people out there that are involved in the luxury space to find inspiration and information from individuals like yourself. And for me as a friend, I love always chatting with you. So I look forward to seeing each other again very soon and keep on doing
Looking
well.
forward. Looking forward
Bye bye.
myself, huh? See you soon.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Bye bye.
Thanks.